Chapter 1, The Spark of Defiance. It started with 3 sharp knocks, loud enough to rattle the glass in my front door. The sound echoed through my quiet home like an unwelcome alarm, pulling me away from the morning routine I'd come to cherish. I was in the kitchen pouring my first cup of coffee, the steam rising in lazy curls under the soft Arizona, sun filtering through the window. The cul-de-sac outside was just waking up, sprinklers hissing in rhythmic arcs, a distant dog barking lazily, the kind of peaceful suburbia that looked perfect on postcards but hid its thorns beneath the manicured lawns. When I peeked through the peephole, my heart skipped a beat. There they were, 2 HOA men in those blindingly bright shirts that screamed official business, a massive inspector with tattoos snaking up his forearms like dark vines, and a female sheriff's deputy with her hand resting, casually but pointedly, on her holster. They stood on my porch like a mismatched posse from some low-budget western, ready for confrontation. But they didn't know the one thing that would flip their script entirely. I took a deep breath, steadying myself. Welcome back to HOA Disputed. I'm Jake Williams, or Jade as most neighbors know me. I live in this small gated community in Arizona, where the houses are cookie-cutter neat, and the HOA rules like a petty monarch. On paper, it's idyllic. Perfect lawns trimmed to regulation height, fences painted in approved shades, neighbors exchanging polite waves over white pickets. But behind those forced smiles and synchronized garage doors, the HOA wields power like a scepter, enforcing rules that seem designed more for control than community. Last month, they set their sights on me, and it all began with something so trivial it should have been laughable, something that never should have escalated to cops at my door. It started small, as these things often do. A simple wooden bench by my porch. I'd built it myself over a lazy weekend, 2 feet long, made from pine boards I'd sanded smooth with my own hands. I stained it a soft honey color that caught the morning light just right, turning it into a warm invitation to sit and watch the world stir. People online know me as Jake Williams, but in the neighborhood, I'm Jade. I keep my legal name under wraps, because my husband wears a badge with the county star. When folks hear sheriff, they shift. Smiles turn plastic, conversations shorten, and suddenly I'm not just a neighbor. I'm the law in yoga pants. It changes everything, so I keep it quiet. The first letter arrived like an uninvited guest, folded crisply in a white envelope with a clear plastic sleeve. Violation number 448. Unauthorized exterior construction. The bench must be removed within 48 hours. Failure to comply may result in fines and legal escalation. That word, escalation, sent a prickle up the back of my neck, like a whisper meant to unsettle. I laughed at first, a soft bubble of disbelief rising in my throat. Who gets worked up over a bench? I set the paper down on the very object in question and sat anyway. The wood was warm against my legs. The street hushed except for the sprinkler's gentle symphony. This was why I'd built it, for those 3 precious minutes each morning, coffee in hand, watching the cul-de-sac wake like a cat stretching in the sun. By noon, the retaliation came swift and petty. A sticky yellow note pressed to my mailbox. Remove the bench or we will. Signed, compliance team. No name, no contact, just that cold, impersonal word, compliance, like a veiled threat wrapped in bureaucracy. I grabbed a pen and scribbled back on the same note, please show the rule. I stuck it there like a challenge, then retreated inside, feeling the house settle around me like a protective shell. That evening, my neighbor across the street, old Mr. Lopez, with his gentle, sloped shoulders and kind eyes, waved from his driveway. He shuffled over, his slippers scuffing softly on the pavement, the bench warily, as if it were a sleeping animal that might bite. Careful, Jade, he murmured, his voice laced with the weight of experience. The board's touchy this week. New president, new attitude. They fined my daughter for leaving her pink tricycle on the lawn. Can you imagine? I could, all too easily. I pictured the board president's face, tight lips, impeccable hair, the type who measures mailbox, heights with a ruler and corrects you with a smile that never warms her eyes. The second letter arrived the next morning, hand-delivered without an envelope, as if they wanted the personal touch to sting. Final notice, it proclaimed boldly, even though it was only the second warning. Remove bench within 24 hours or face an inspector visit. Shiny ink, designed to make you feel diminished, insignificant. My coffee suddenly tasted metallic, bitter on my tongue. I set the mug down and traced my fingers along the bench's grain. It wasn't a threat to peace. It didn't block sidewalks or scare children. It simply held weight and offered quiet. At noon, the hum of a golf cart announced their arrival. Bright shirts, clipboards in hand, the two HOA. They ignored the blooming flowers in my yard, zeroing in on the bench like detectives at a crime scene. They murmured to each other, snapping photos on their phones, pulling out a measuring tape with theatrical precision. I opened the door, stepping onto the porch. "Good afternoon. How can I help?" They kept scribbling, ignoring me at first. Finally, one looked up. "Ma'am, you're in violation. Exterior modification without approval." I smiled, keeping my voice light. "It's a bench. Not attached, not a deck. Just wood and patience." He wrote faster, his pen scratching like an accusation. "Will return with an inspector. Please do not resist compliance." That phrase, "do not resist," sparked a laugh deep in my chest, as if they were gearing up for war over pine and screws. After they left, I called my husband. His voice was steady on the line, an anchor in the absurdity. "Don't do anything," I told him. "No calls to the board, no uniform drive-bys." He sighed, slow and measured. "You want me to sit this out? Let them handle it." "Yes," I replied. "I want to see who they really are when they think no one's watching." He paused, then agreed. "Okay, but lock the door. Keep calm, phone close." He knows that tone in me, the one that says I'm done with paper, thrones and petty kings. That night I imagined the inspector, tall, square-jawed, reveling in the word authority. I pictured him standing too close, speaking like a judge in a kangaroo court. A thrill coursed through me because I knew what he didn't. The weight of the badge on my husband's belt, the watchful eyes on this street even when they seemed sleepy. Real power is quiet, patient, precise. Morning came with a blue sky like polished glass, sunlight slanting across the porch in golden lines. I positioned the bench in that warmth, made 2 eggs, and texted my friend Abby a photo of it smiling defiantly. She replied with 3 knife emojis and a heart. Neighborhood politics again. Let them try you. At 11 UU, the golf cart returned, parking boldly in my driveway. 3 men this time, the 2 bright shirts and a hulking figure in a green. Polo embroidered with inspector in yellow thread. Bull neck, tattooed forearms, face like weathered tire rubber. He walked like a boulder tumbling downhill. He didn't greet me, just stared at the bench, then at me. "Open the door." It was a command, laced with entitlement. I stayed on the porch. "We can speak here." He stepped closer, his peppery cologne invading my space. "Open the door." "We need interior measurements for setback compliance." "Interior measurements for a porch bench." I tilted my head. "That's not a thing." His eye twitched. He turned to the others. "Right?" Refusal. Non-cooperative. Police assist if necessary. My heartbeat steadied. Hands remained calm. I thought of my husband's words. Calm voice, locked door, phone close. The inspector leaned in. "One more chance, ma'am." A small crowd gathered, neighbors in workout shorts. A kid on a scooter, Mr. Lopez with his gentle shoulders. The sun beat down, amplifying the tension. Then a cruiser eased around the corner, white and gold with the county star. My stomach flipped. I'd asked him not to come. But it wasn't him. A deputy with a tight ponytail and glass-sharp eyes stepped out, hand near her holster. The air cooled instantly. The inspector puffed up, waving her over. "Ma'am, non-compliant homeowner. Require entry." The deputy eyed me, the bench him. "Step back." Her voice was level, unyielding. He froze. "This is HOA compliance. We requested police assist." She kept her gaze on me. "Do you feel safe?" I nodded. "Do you want them inside?" "No." She turned. "No entry, no cause, no warrant." He protested. "Structure violates setbacks." She glanced at the bench. "Not reason to enter. Talk on the porch or cite rules, but don't cross the door." The HOA men exchanged panicked glances. The inspector ground his teeth. "Fine, we'll cite. Fine, lean if required." Anger bloomed in me, hot and slow. "Show me the rule. Where is a freestanding bench a structure? Where do you enter without a warrant?" He flinched at warrant. The deputy hid a flicker of a smile. Phones were out now, recording the scene. The inspector scribbled furiously. "You'll receive notice of fines. You've made this worse." He tried handing me paper. I refused. "Leave it on the bench." He did, like it was contaminated. The deputy cleared her throat. "Anything else?" He stared, then stomped away, the others trailing. The crowd whispered as they dispersed. The deputy lingered, her eyes shifting. "Are you—" She softened. "Your husband is—" I nodded. "Keep it quiet." "Of course." She tapped her cap. "Logged as resolved. Good day." As the cul-de-sac returned to normal, sprinklers, birds, distant barks, I sat on my bench, unfolding the paper. Daily fine begins in 24 hours. Board hearing scheduled. Possible lire. 3 lines meant to intimidate. But I felt the opposite. A need to speak, document, unravel. I opened my laptop, scoured the HOA bylaws. There it was. Portable furniture allowed on porches. No approval required. I photographed it with the bench. Emailed the HOA. See Section 7. Paragraph C. Bench remains. Have a good day. An hour of silence, then my phone buzzed. Board President. Discuss at hearing. Attendance required. With a smiley emoji like a poison sticker. I replied, happy to attend. Bringing rulebook and chair. Heard yours aren't comfortable. The sun slid across the porch like a golden coin. A mower hummed. A garage groaned. I felt the next move brewing. They wouldn't back down. Power collectors never do. I rubbed the bench's wood steady and real. I thought of my husband's badge. Hidden when off duty, the nights he came home heavy. I promised myself no hammer of his name, no flag of his badge. Fight with rules, light, neighbors, cameras, calm. Evening fell soft and orange. I brewed tea, stepped onto the porch. The street empty, but silence held breath. They'd come again, with papers, threats, smiles that didn't reach eyes. The inspector with his jaw, the president with her voice. They'd box me with lien and consequence. I spoke to the doorbell camera's red light. Tomorrow we begin. Show what a rule means when a bench refuses to move. If you were me, would you roll the bench away for peace? Or sit with tea, make them read the rule aloud? The night after felt heavier, shadows listening. Porch light on, not fear but vigilance. At 10:14 p.m., phone buzzed. Unknown. Final warning. Remove or face legal action. Click deadline. My reflection in the black screen. So this was their game. Late night intimidation when rules failed. Next morning up before sun. Dew on grass, air crisp. Coffee brewed, sat on bench waiting. By 8:30, white pickup with HOA logo. Board president in passenger seat. Perfect hair. Sunglasses, funeral smile. She stood at steps. Miss Williams, you're making this difficult. Sip of coffee. Portable furniture allowed, Section 7, Paragraph C. Jaw flicker. Driver in jeans, ball cap, hired muscle, arms folded. We're not debating. We're solving. Then admit no violation. She stepped up, perfume cloying. We can make life uncomfortable. Fines, liens, restrictions. Neighbors will notice. I leaned forward. Maybe they have. Driver shifted. Mr. Lopez on lawn, phone recording. Her smile cracked. We'll be in touch. Truck pulled away slow, leaving empty space. That afternoon, I walked the neighborhood, smiling at porches. Eyes changed, curiosity, caution, support. By evening, plan formed. Not just keep bench, expose games. One more visit, one push. They couldn't resist. Chapter 2, The Escalation. That night, sleep evaded me. Not from fear, but from the whirlwind of possibilities swirling in my mind. Every threat they could conjure. Every fabricated rule from their binder of dominance. People like them thrive on the assumption you'll crumble under their bluster. That a raised voice or stern letter is an unbeatable hand. Intimidation in their world equals righteousness. So I resolved to flip their playbook, use it against them. First step, gather proof. Not just for my sake, but for everyone who'd suffered under their thumb. I knew there were others like Mr. Lopez, waving politely while hiding stacks of violation notices in drawers, staying silent because isolation breeds compliance. The next morning, I started my rounds walking casually, waving at neighbors, easing into conversations about the weather before steering toward them. By 10 a.m., I'd collected 4 stories, each echoing my own. Trivial infractions ballooned into punitive fines. One for lawn decorations deemed too colorful. Another for a garage door opened too long. Kids' toys labeled obstructions overnight. All pointed to the board president, her calm demeanor, never shouting, but that smile saying, I'm superior without words. They warned me, she'll make you regret this. She always wins, I smiled. Not this time. Back home, I set up an old camcorder on the bookshelf. Lens aimed at the front door, not the doorbell's tiny eye, but a proper setup with clear audio and battery backup. By noon, a text buzzed. Hearing scheduled Friday. 9 a.m. attendance required. No location, implying they'd come to me. Perfect. I cleaned the porch like prepping for guests. Swept steps. Dusted bench, added a potted plant. Friendliest battlefield imaginable. Thursday passed quietly. building tension for Friday. I woke pre-dawn, brewed strong coffee, waited. At 9:02, the white pickup arrived. Driver in ball cap, board president in sunglasses, inspector in green polo from back seat, parked halfway in driveway. President out first, inspector with clipboard. Driver stayed, engine running. Good morning, Miss Williams. Like brunch? Here for your hearing. From bench, portable furniture allowed, section 7, paragraph C. She ignored. Deciding if refusal is willful noncompliance. Who is we? Glanced to inspector. He stepped up. Board represented by myself and President Cole. Verbal and written determination. So judge and jury. She pulled paper, escalating fines. Opportunity to avoid, remove today, fines stop. Ignore, rien. If I refuse? Inspector smirked. You'll lose. Blunt, punch-like, but camera caught it. I opened bylaws PDF on phone, read aloud. Portable furniture allowed. No approval required. Twitch in her smile, inspector's eyes shifting, perhaps unread rule. Not interpreted that way. Show written interpretation. Jaw tight. Don't need to. There, because we say so unspoken. I folded hands. Hearing over. Inspector closer. One more chance. Remove, save trouble. Threatening lien for legal bench? Good guy? Tires on asphalt. County cruiser stopped. Not husband, same deputy. Everything okay? Gaze between them and me. President straightened. Private HOA hearing. Deputy. Threatening financial action on property? Not private if told to leave. Inspector. Not leaving without resolution. Deputy's hand near holster. Then report written. Choice. Nobody moved. President smooth jacket. Fine. In touch. They left. Deputy watched, then to me. Still fighting? Smile. Always. Nod, cap tap. Call if needed. Inside, memory card to laptop. Every word, smirk, dodge, captured. Uploaded private link. Sent to trusted neighbors. Hour later, forwarded wildly. 3 texts from strangers. Saw video. Can't keep doing this. Next morning, inbox 5 messages. More stories, own benches. Plan working. Feared not rule loss, but control. Evening on bench, air warm, street quiet. Shift like pre-quake. They wouldn't stop, but now wondered. Who watches knocks? Morning after video spread, phone buzzed relentlessly. Notifications piled. Group chat HOA survivors. Messages flew, violation letters. Ridiculous fines, trash can out 19 minutes, door color inharmonious. Not just me. Endless frustration, resentment, fear. By 9, new president saw video, SUV rolled past slow. Wheel grip tight, sunglasses hiding burning eyes. Didn't stop. 15 minutes later, email. Defamation notice from HOA Legal Affairs. Statements, demand remove video, threaten recourse. No lawyer signature, just scare tactics. Replied, statements supported by bylaws, evidence, proceed. Not stubborn. Bigger than bench, exposing. By noon, Claire stopped by, mid-50s, soft voice, folder trembling. Violations not hers, father's. 20 years resident, perfect dues yard. Now, excessive shrubbery. Photos, healthy hedges. Forcing sale. Too tired. Cold in chest, predatory. Told scan, send digitally. She left, glancing back. Afternoon, community email, reminder HOA standards. Unauthorized structures not tolerated. Defamation subject review. Aimed at me, no name. Replies exploded, some defend, most absurd. One quoted bylaw proving bench allowed. Threat alive 2 hours before disabled. Early evening, black SUV parked down street, tinted windows, engine running hour. Negotiating now? Wait shift, off record. President won't stop. Embarrassed her. Push till break. No smugness, warning. Why tell? Pause. Seen before. Last guy lost house. Folded paper, no letterhead, names list, crossed, dates. People she's gone after. Dates moved out. Stomach tight, 7 and 3 years. Looked up, already to SUV, drove off. Locked door, table, list. Claire's folder, cold coffee. Pattern, target, pressure, push, till fold, leave. Wrong target, I wouldn't. Opened laptop, drafted email to county housing. Possible HOA abuse. Targeting pattern, investigation request. Attached list, folder, video. Didn't send, give one more reveal chance. Next morning on bench, quiet loaded. 9:15, white pickup. President, new man wheel. Stopped curb. Window down, enjoy bench. Won't be long, cold voice. Truck away slow. Cameras red light, all captured. Couldn't decide. Send email now or let trap spring. Didn't send. Wanted see depth, they'd dig. Let day pass, evidence kept. Night. Every light off except living room lamp. Book unread, watching street. 10:42 p.m. Black SUV by no headlights, stopped 2 houses down. Idled 10 minutes away. Message, watching. Next morning, email to me. Violation escalation. Fines double. Failure. Restrict privileges. Pool, clubhouse, gym. High school punishment. Replied, threats documented. Rules record. Section 7, paragraph C. 11 bearer, walk declares. Opened before knock. See this. Father at table, letter. Overgrown backyard, photos wrong yard. Not hiding. Voice shook angry. Keep letter, copy me, pay nothing. Homeward Mr. Lopez trimming roses. Out of control. Lived longer, feels occupation. Word fit, decided. If siege, break inside. Step 1, feign winning. Email soft, understand. Consider options, update soon. Bait set. Next day, pickup, president, driver. Out with paper and glad reconsidering. Remove tomorrow, waive fines. Almost friendly. Pretend, think, nod. Tonight. Smiled victory. Left, I drafted flyer, no rights. HOA rules they hide. Listed bylaws, including furniture, others ignored. Bottom, targeted unfairly? Contact me. Printed 30, enveloped, dark delivery like reverse Santa. Sunrise neighborhood buzz, driveways talks, flyers like contraband. Mind to ER, president arrived, rattled. Been busy. Shrug, letting no rules. Jaw tight. Remove or legal action. Gestured bench. Go ahead, careful. Deputy eyes street. Flicker, remembered cruiser. Turn, truck off fast. Sat bench, coffee, sunwarm. Shift, their control loss, my confidence gain. Evening, 3 knocks, folders, letters, fines, photos. Tired this. Told hold copies ready. Night inspector's list called nearby names. Midnight, 2 talks. Mirrored stories, fake violations, harassment till sold. Willing county talk. Saved numbers, closed laptop, porch, quiet too. Crickets, dog. No SUV, choice, send evidence now or hold for big mistake. Tempting both, quicker or satisfying. Chapter 3, The Crumbling Empire. I decided to wait, not from fear or hesitation, but because I could sense the widening crack in their armor. Sometimes you don't smash the wall, you let it crumble under its own weight. The morning after that decision, I woke to voices outside, not just a couple, but a small crowd. Peeking through the blinds, I saw neighbors clustered at the end of my driveway, some clutching the flyers I'd distributed, others with arms crossed, staring down the street intently. I stepped outside, coffee mug in hand. What's going on? Claire looked up from the group, her face a mix of excitement and tension. They're doing yard inspections today. Unscheduled, no notice. I followed her gaze. And spotted the white pickup creeping from house to house, moving like a shark in shallow water. The board president sat in the passenger seat, her clipboard visible through the window. Lawns with deliberate steps, pausing at every mailbox as if searching for hidden crimes. His green polo strained against his broad frame, and his tattooed arms flexed as he jotted notes. When they reached my place, they dropped all pretense of subtlety. The inspector marched up the steps without a word of greeting, his boots thumping heavily on the wood. We've decided your plant pot is an obstruction, he declared, his voice flat and authoritative, like a judge reading a sentence from a script he didn't believe. I blinked, the absurdity hitting me like a slap. It's a plant on my porch tucked in a corner. How is that obstructing anything? Bothering to look at the pot. Still a violation. Rules are rules. Behind him, the neighbors watched, their phones raised like weapons, recording every moment. The president called from the truck, her voice carrying across the yard. Remove it within 48 hours, or we'll add it to your accumulating fines. I didn't budge. Half the street, they'd made the error I'd been waiting for. The pot wasn't mentioned in any bylaw. In fact, there was a section specifically allowing decorative plants on porches to enhance curb appeal. They'd skipped even pretending to have a legitimate rule. They'd gone straight to pure intimidation in broad daylight, and the cameras captured it all. I knew exactly what I was going to do with that footage. It would be the centerpiece of my next share. They moved on down the street, the inspector scribbling nonsense into his clipboard with furious strokes, the truck rolling slowly behind him. But the neighbors didn't scatter like they might have in the past. They lingered in my yard, whispering among themselves, some expressions angry, others amused. but all united in their attention. Mr. Lopez shuffled over. His gentle shoulders hunched slightly. "This is ridiculous," he muttered. "Next, they'll fine us for breathing too loudly." By noon, I'd uploaded the video to the same private link as before, sent it to a dozen more neighbors, and added a side-by-side screenshot of the bylaw about decorative plants. The reaction was instant. The group chat blew up with messages flying in faster than I could read. Memes started popping up. One neighbor posted a picture of his porch overflowing with pots, captioned, "HOA, come and get me. I dare you." Another put a massive inflatable flamingo in his front yard and tagged half the neighborhood in the photo, sparking a chain of laughs and supportive comments. That night the SUV returned, but this time it parked right in front of my house. Two figures sat inside, silhouettes against the tinted glass, the engine idling with a low rumble. I sat on my bench, phone in hand, watching the clock. They stayed for almost 40 minutes before finally pulling away. The next morning, a letter arrived, hand-delivered and slipped under my door instead of into the mailbox, as if they wanted to make it feel more intrusive. Notice of special board meeting. Attendance mandatory. No date, no time, just those words, designed to keep me on edge, wondering when they'd show up next. I laughed out loud, the sound echoing in my empty house. They wanted me nervous. They wanted me wondering. Instead, I pinned the letter to my fridge like a trophy, right next to the defamation notice. By mid-afternoon, I got a text from the inspector. Unknown number again, but I recognized the tone. "They're going to hit you with everything at once. Just be ready." I stared at it for a long time. Was it a warning, a setup, or maybe the cracks inside their own team were starting to show? Either way, it added another layer to the evidence pile. That evening, Claire stopped by again. She had a flash drive in her hand, holding it out like a precious artifact. "I thought you should have this," she said, her voice low. It was a recording from last year's HOA meeting. Not an official one. Someone had left their phone running in a purse, and it caught the... When they reached my place, they dropped all pretense. The inspector marched up the steps without a word. "We've decided your plant pot is an obstruction." He delivered it like a verdict. I blinked, incredulous. "It's a plant on my porch in a corner." He shrugged dismissively. Still a violation. Behind him, neighbors watched, phones raised, recording every moment. The president called from the truck. "Remove within 48 hours. Or add to fines." I didn't budge, didn't argue, just smiled. Because right there, in front of half the street, they'd made the error I'd anticipated. The pot wasn't in any bylaw. In fact, decorative plants were explicitly allowed on porches. They'd bypassed rules entirely, opting for raw intimidation in daylight. I knew exactly what to do with that footage. They moved on, the inspector scribbling nonsense. But the neighbors didn't disperse. They lingered in my yard, whispering, some angry, some amused, all engaged. By noon, I'd uploaded the video to the private link, adding a side-by-side screenshot of the plant bylaw. Reactions poured in instantly. The group chat erupted with memes. One neighbor's porch photo captioned, "HOA, come find me. I dare you." Another erected a massive inflatable flamingo, tagging everyone. That night, the SUV returned, parking directly in front. Two figures inside, engine idling. I sat on my bench, phone ready, watching the clock tick 40 minutes before they departed. No approach, just lingering menace. Next morning, a letter slipped under my door. Notice of special board meeting. Attendance mandatory. No date, no time, just ambiguity to breed anxiety. I laughed, pinning it to the fridge like a trophy. Mid-afternoon, inspector's text. "They're going to hit you with everything. Be ready." Warning or setup. Cracks in their team showing? Evening, Claire arrived with a flash drive. "You should have this." Recording from last year's meeting. Phone left running. Capturing the president bragging about removing problem homeowners, naming names including mine. Played thrice, clear, undeniable. "Nail and coffin," I said. Claire nodded. "Be careful. Won't go quietly." 2 days quiet, too quiet, like pre-storm hush. Third morning it struck. Letter from real law firm, demanding 3,200 fines. Legal action in 10 days. Official letterhead, attorney signature. Weight hit, some would crack. But I remembered videos, flyers, chat, recording. Power shifted. They pretended. Wrote back, fines violate bylaws. Evidence harassment, recorded misconduct compiled for county state, proceed. Certified mail sent, waited. Evening, chat exploded. Half neighborhood similar letters. Inflated fines. Threats. But resolve, not fear. Nobody paying, backing down. Siege broken, not alone, but collective awakening. Next day mail, froze. Sign in lawn. Notice, property subject to lien. Staked like victory flag or desperation. Videoed every angle, emailed county with all. Bench photos. Pot footage, meeting letter. Bragging, recording. Hit send. Next move theirs no longer. If me, press public squirm or step back. Let investigation tear apart. Morning after county send air charged pre-thunder. Early coffee on bench, watching. 8:05 a.m. Black sedan government plates to HOA office. Two dark-suited men entered. No knock. President opened. Hair perfect, smile faltered. Inside 17 minutes. Emerged, left. She doorway, phone ear, pale, jaw tight. 10 minutes, inspector arrived, stayed 5, exited deflated. Word spread, chat lit county guy's HOA office. Serious. Said nothing. Noon, HOA email. Reviewing operations, unavailable inspections week. Vague, no apology, silence louder. Afternoon, Claire by, smiling. Call dad. Fines reconsidered, reviewing. Laughed deep. Scared. Yeah. Next day, yard sign gone. Envelope door. Rescinds all fines, exterior modifications. No apology, quiet retreat. Pinned fridge trophies. But war lingered. 3 days, county letter. Investigation active. Thanked evidence, available questions. Called, answered, listed willing neighbors. Week. Investigators door to door. Statements, violations. Black sedan familiar. HOA silent. No inspections, SUVs, fines. Power cut. 8th day, president's SUV front. Out slow, no sunglasses. May come up. Waited, she climbed. Smaller without authority. Gotten out hand. Both said things. Eyebrow, meant everything. Flinch. Board changing. Members stepping down. Restructuring. Waited. Glance away. Bench no longer violation. Leaned. Never was. Nod tight. Turned. Called. Ever think trouble avoided reading rules first? No answer. Walked. Investigation 2 weeks. Results stark. Improper enforcement. Harassment. Questionable finances. President resigned. Personal reasons. Inspector other opportunities. New elections announced. Meetings full. Neighbors questioning. Accountable. Claire's father fines erased. List others letters. Some considered return. Saturday morning bench coffee. Interim president by stopped. Looked bench. Me smiled. Nice bench. Disagreements, rules, emails, bins of lights. But different. New playbook. Right ask rule writing. Nobody afraid say no porch. Think first knock. Pounding smug faces. Assumption fold clipboard fake badge. Now knocks no stomach drop. Steady. No say. Half street watches. Bench there. Plant pot. Neighbors wave. Former president SUV passes. Lives here. Just resident. No authority. Meetings. Intimidation. Walks past. No look. Bench me. Keeps going. Sit, sip coffee. Wonder. The morning after I sent everything to the county. The air felt different. Not lighter. Not heavier. Just charged like the moment before a thunderclap. I woke up early, made coffee, sat on my bench and watched the street come to life. By 8:05 a.m., the first sign of change arrived. A black sedan with government plates turned the corner. It didn't slow for the speed bump. Didn't wave at the jogger passing by. It just rolled straight toward the HOA office at the end of the street. 2 men in dark suits stepped out. They weren't neighbors. They weren't delivery drivers. And they didn't knock when they reached the door. They pushed it open with purpose. I could see it from my porch. The board president opening the door, her perfect hair in place, her posture straight, but for the first time, not a perfect smile. It was strained, forced. The suits went in. The door closed behind them. I don't know what was said in that room. The walls were too thick. The distance too far, but it lasted exactly 17 minutes. When the door opened again, the suits left without looking back, their faces impassive. The board president stood in the doorway for a moment, then stepped out. Her phone pressed to her ear, her face pale, her jaw set tight like she was biting back words. 10 minutes later, the inspector's green polo appeared. He walked in with his usual swagger, but stayed for less than 5 minutes, before coming out looking like someone had just told him his car had been repossessed. Word spreads fast in neighborhoods like ours, especially now that the chat was active. By 9, the group was lit up with messages. 2 county guys just went into the HOA office. I saw them too. Looked serious. About time someone checked them. I didn't say a word, not yet. I just sipped my coffee and watched. By noon, the HOA sent out a community update email. It was short and vague. The kind of corporate speak that says nothing while trying to sound important. The board is reviewing certain operational matters and will be unavailable for scheduled inspections for the next week. No explanation, no apology, but it didn't matter. The silence spoke louder than anything they could have written. It was an admission, even if unspoken. They were on the defensive.